on our up until now, we've been primarily talking about cleaning the kitchen. Now we're going to talk about cleaning the floors. We're talking about the carpets and the tiles and the wood floors and the features like that. So the book goes as follows: Asur b'Shabbat l'tateh b'matata karkash ena merutzefet. It's forbidden on Shabbat to sweep with a broom floor that is not tiled. So in other words, like a dirt floor, a natural floor. Aval karka merutzefet mutar l'tateh. But if you have a tiled floor or a wood floor or some kind of human created floor where, as you're going to see, it's flat and smooth, and you are allowed to sweep. So what's the concern here? The concern is that there's a melacha called choresh. Choresh means to plow, and included in the melacha of plowing is the idea that you can neither create or smooth out holes in the ground. And so if we were talking about dirt, right? So a picture going outside onto a patch of dirt and sweeping with a broom, what would be happening? You'd be smoothing out the level of the dirt. That would be forbidden. So in the ancient times, most of the homes did not have the type of flooring that we had. Most of the homes had flooring of just dirt. So they were not allowed to sweep, because in sweeping they would be creating this problem. However, it is stated that one houses that we have, where all of our floors are all man-made. They're all smooth. They're all hard. By sweeping the floor, I'm not creating any grooves or holes or smoothing them out. So it's not a problem. So for us to sweep inside of our houses with a broom is not an issue at all, unless we have some kind of unusual type of floor where this applies. But I don't see that. I've never seen that, so I don't think that that's possible. לדעת האשכנזים אסור לטאטא אפילו לקרקע מרוצפת בזמן שהיו בתים שאינם מרוצפים, ואז גזרו מרוצף משום שאינו מרוצף. It says, according to the Ashkenazim, you're not allowed to sweep even on a tiled floor when many of the homes were untiled. So they made a decree on floors like ours, against cases where there were floors that were untiled. He says, but in our day, where there's just no such thing, at least in the places that we live, as homes that are dirt floors, so there's no such concern. The truth is, it's not exactly true that there are no places like this. If you were to go to some of the maybe third world countries, India, Bangladesh, and you go to certain places, there are actually a lot of people that live in homes with dirt, certainly in Africa. But those are places that we generally are not around. So therefore, this would not be a concern. And anyway, that was only according to the Ashkenazim. So for us, it's really not a problem. So the practicality of the law is that although it once might have been a problem, today it is no problem to sweep our floors. So after we've, the hard floors I'm talking about, after we've eaten a meal or, worked in or spent time in our kitchen or something like that, it's totally allowed for us to take out a broom and sweep up whatever's there. Now, look at the next halacha, or you can't look at it, you don't have the book, but looking at the next halacha, אין לנקות את השטיח לא במברשת ולא מכשיר המיוחד לכך, אף אם אינו מופעל על ידי חשמל, ומכל מקום מותר לטאטא את השטיח במטאטא רך לאסוף את הפסולת שעליו. So he says you're not allowed to clean a carpet with something that is made to clean the carpet. So of course a vacuum, which is electric, so that you can't do. But if there's some kind of carpet brush, which I'm not familiar with, if there's such a thing, I don't know if anyone is familiar with it, but if there's a particular type of specific brush for a carpet, so that wouldn't be used. However, to take a broom or something to just brush some things off a carpet, is not a problem. The essence would be that you're not allowed to use something that's specific for using it for cleaning a carpet. But other than that, it would be okay to clean a carpet just as well as it would be to clean a hardwood floor. And for sure, the way that I clean a carpet is on a carpet, you get on your hands and knees and you pick up stuff or you swipe it with your hands. There's no problem with that. Next halacha, asur lishtof et haritzpa gam im hi merutzefet. We don't mop the floors. Lo b'matlit v'gam lo ba'ezrat magav gumi, not with a mop, not with a squeegee or something like that. However, if you had a lot of water or some other object, some other liquid spill in a tiled or hardwood floor or something along those lines, there you can use a squeegee or some other item to push it to a particular spot. However, you have to be careful, as we said yesterday, not to do the squeezing. Squeezing is a problem on Shabbat. So if you're going to clean liquid off the floor, so you have to be careful not to do the squeezing. He says, and if it's a small amount of water, and you know that you could just pat down the water with either a mop or a towel or something like that, then that's fine. However, we definitely get into situations where the wine spills, juice spills, or something like that, and you can't just, that's more, if it's wine or juice or soda or something like that, it could be really sticky, and you can't leave it that way. So you can dilute it with a little bit of water. But again, you want to try and when you're mopping it up, you want to try and not squeeze out anything. So you have to figure out how to do that. You might need multiple towels or paper towels or something like that. But again, be careful not to squeeze out. Okay. Mutar l'rabetz kevan she'eno mitkaven להשוות גומות אלא שלא יעלה האבק. וההיתר הוא גם על קרקע שאינה מרוצפת. So you're allowed to put water on the floor of the house, and even though in a dirt house that might actually create problems, but most of our houses are not that. Okay. Tetvav, en hasir kore achavish mishum isur muktzeh. ויש מי שכתב שיתכן שיש לחשוש בזה גם איסור תולש מן המחובר משום שהם מחוברים לבית. So he says you're not allowed to get rid of spider webs. So if there are spider webs, cobwebs, or something like that around the house, leave them till after Shabbat, because of the issue of these things being muktzeh. They were not set aside as for use or for cleaning from before Shabbat, so you can't touch them. And we'll get to this at another point. You can't kill the spider himself. כל פנים, אם קורא החביש אינם מחוברים לבית, אלא אל כלים או רהיטים, מותר להסירם על ידי טלטול מן הצד, דהיינו באמצעות מטאטא וכדומה. He says, however, this only applies if the spider webs are connected to what we would call a fixed object or fixed property. So they're connected to the walls, the ceiling, something to the house or something like the house. However, if the cobwebs or the spider webs are on a cup, or something movable, an object, in that instance, you are allowed to move it, and you are allowed to get rid of it, but you should try and do it in a unusual fashion. So try not to use, your hands that are, an unusual motion for doing it. But if it's, so that's if the cobwebs are all connected to something that is movable that you might use, like a cup, a book, clothing, or something like that. In that instance, you're allowed to move it because the rules from Mukseh are different when it's connected to a fixed object, like my table, a bookshelf, those are fixed objects. The ground, the ceiling, the walls, those are all fixed. But if it's a movable object, then the spider web may be moved. מותר לסדר את המיטה בשבת אם היא נמצאת במקום שעוברים שם. מפני כבוד השבת כדי שהבית ייראה מסודר. So this is a great question that people ask all the time. May I make my bed on Shabbat? Of course, what's the problem with making the bed on Shabbat? The problem is you're probably not going to sleep in it again until after Shabbat, right? You generally go to sleep Friday night, you wake up Shabbat morning, you get out of your bed. Most of us don't have anything to do with our bed for many, many hours. So who needs to make the bed? Right? So the answer to that question is, it depends on whether the bed is in a place that if people are going to see it. If people are going to see it, so then you don't want your house to be a wreck. If your room is the type of place where you walk out, you close the door, and you never come back till that night, so then really you should not be making the bed. So it really depends on the person, and it depends on the situation. I would argue that for almost all of us, making the bed is something that is allowed to do because we do go in and out of our rooms, and we do the making of the bed isn't purely to get back into it, but actually it's part of the natural order of our house. So therefore, I would say it would not be a problem to make our bed. ולהציע את המיטה כדי לשכב עליה, אם שוכב עליה בשבת מותר להציע, אבל אם שוכב רק מוצאי שבת אסור להציע, כיוון שמכוון משבת החול. And part of the story, I think, also is it's perfectly common for people on Shabbat to go and take a nap, to lie on their bed, to get in their bed. So therefore, I would say it's no problem to use the bed, to make the bed for Shabbat. שמשת חדים, מותר בשבת לנגב את העדים במגבת או סמרטוט המיוחדים לנקות בהם, לנגוע בהם כלים וכיוצא בזה. So a window shade or something else, that has frost, steam, or something like that, you can wipe down a window. If the window is dirty, you can clean the window as well. So that's that. Let's stop here for today because we're at a point where we're gonna actually, let's go a little further. If anyone has to leave, sure, no problem, but we're just gonna go for a few more minutes. מותר להסיר מהשולחן את כלי הסעודה, גם אחרי הסעודה השלישית בשבת, כדי שהחדר ייראה נקי, מסודר, או שלא למשוך עליו חרקים, אבל אסור להסיר את כלי הסעודה ברגעים האחרונים. So we talked about utensils after eating on it, whether it be the kitchen table, the dining room table, a table in the shul, or something like that. You're allowed to clean it off, unless you're talking about like 3 minutes to go on Shabbat. But basically, you want your house to be in order, so you are able to clean off the table. So let's say beer or some other juice or soda or something like that spilled on the table. You want to clean it off with a cup or with a knife or something like that. You want to avoid that squeezing concept of sechita. Okay, that's good. Nozlim mu'atim. He says a little bit of liquid that fell on the table. They poured on the table. You're allowed to clean them off, but be careful not to squeeze again. But if it's a lot, then try, you have to be really careful about how you don't have the squeezing. Look at the next halacha. מותר לתת מעט מים המתלית נקייה מיוחדת לקינוח השולחן ולקנח בה את השולחן בנחת. So a lot of times when we've used the table, we want to use a wet item in order to clean it off. So maybe a towel or a napkin. So you could put a little bit of water, not the amount that would squeeze out, but you could moisten the towel or the napkin in order to create something a little bit wet to be able to wipe off the table. So that's what we just said. For silver and for copper and some kinds of metals, there are very specific cleaning materials used to clean those off. We should not use that. We should not be cleaning silver with the silver polish. So you should just, for silverware and things like that, just wash it, rinse it off in the normal thing with water. And then after Shabbat, that's when you could do the real polish and shine and so on and so forth. But during Shabbat, that we shouldn't be doing the silver polish. So tomorrow we're going to move on to a different item, which is the cleaning and the folding of clothing, which is going to take us a couple days. We'll pick up with that on Monday morning at 7 o'clock. Of course, invite everyone to join us in about a half hour for a virtual Zoom minyan at 7:45